Guys, so today I'm going to go ahead and start off my series that I want to do. It's going to be called Dom Talks Too Much, because in all actuality I do talk a lot, and I just like to, talk about things other than, the little things that people always talk about, like social media or drama or gossip. I like to talk about myself, the things that I go through, and I like to have these kind of conversations with my friends because it just builds up a better conversation. It builds up a better level. It builds up, how I should say, is a level of maturity, because you're not talking always so focusing on other people's lives. You're kind of focusing on what you're doing in life and focusing on what you want to do and all your plans and blah, 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 blah. You get what I mean? So that's basically what I want to talk about right now, is how I became very confident from having a child, and from having a child at such a young age, because I've come from a very dark place in my life that I don't think anyone knows that I've been in, because I can hide it very well. And I love what I am now and how confident I am and how unafraid I am to show a little skin, or to, show people that, like, hey, I like to take pictures now, because there was one point where I didn't even like taking pictures of myself. So just to kind of get right into the story, it all happened in elementary school. I started to get chunky in like the 2nd or 3rd grade, and it wasn't so much people in school talking about my weight. It was more so people at home or in my family talking about my weight. Always making comments about my stomach and about how big I was, and about, how fat I am, and about how if you eat this, you're going to get big as a house, and yada, 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 and just throwing so many dabs at me, to the point where it really created a big problem. And now that I'm older and I'm looking at it now from when I was younger, I'm like, okay, if I had a problem with weight, why did you keep buying junk food? Why did you keep buying ramen noodles? Like little things like that. Like when I come home from school, I don't want to always eat ramen noodles. And ramen noodles has a lot of sodium. Sodium does nothing but make you bloat, like swell. So I was eating those constantly because there was nothing else that I couldn't really make or eat. I probably could have made a peanut butter jelly sandwich, but whatever. So I just hated like that. That was like one thing that I cannot stand, was that I started getting really big in the middle, in elementary school. I was so chunky, and in 4th grade I started getting acne because I hit puberty really early. And I just start feeling really uncute. Like I was like, I'm not pretty at all. Like I'm not cute at all. And I just kept putting that to myself, like, oh my God, I am not cute at all. And when I got in 6th grade, once I got into 6th grade, I felt like I had no motivation for anything. Like I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to be in school. Actually, that started in 4th grade. 4th grade and on, I had no motivation for school. I was like, I hate school. I want to go home. I hate school. I want to go home. And I kept telling myself that because I had so many problems with it. And I was just like, I hate school. And it wasn't because people were picking on me, because people weren't my friends. Like I had a lot of friends in middle school and in elementary school, but I hated being there. Like I hated being in school. And 6th grade, I was still pretty much chunky. I didn't have good fashion sense. Like my everything, I didn't feel cute enough. I didn't feel pretty enough. And once I got into the 7th grade, I started losing a lot of weight. Thank goodness for my dance instructor. She knows who she is. When I was in middle school, I lost so much weight from her in 7th grade because she worked us hard. Because we had a big show we had to do this one point a year. And I will never forget sweating that hard. You never forget these moments in your life. And that moment I will never forget, when I lost so much weight because of her. And I thank her to this day, because I lost so much weight being in her dance class, her dance program. I lost so much weight. And I noticed it because my pants were starting to get bigger. My mom started noticing it. People started noticing that I was losing weight. And I started to get a little bit of a curve on me. And I started to get a butt. And I almost forgot the most important part of middle school that I will never forget. And let me just say, you will never forget those things in life that hurt you the most. You will never forget the day. You will never forget the time. You will never forget the person. You will never forget anything about that moment. I was in 6th grade. I was at the lunch table. and I was sitting right across from this boy named Scott. I know exactly what he looks like. Redhead and he had pale skin. Anyways, that's besides the point. I was sitting right across from him, and he said that my nose was big. You got a really big nose. Dun dun dun. Like, I'm talking about that right there. That started the big nose thing with me, because from that point on, like before then, I wasn't even paying attention to my nose. I wasn't even talking about my nose. I didn't care nothing about my nose. I was just happy to be, you know, I was just like, whatever. Like, I don't really care anymore. Like, I had no motivation. Like I told you, I had no motivation at all. I didn't care. I was like, okay, I'm not cute. I'm not pretty. My style is like whack. Like, nobody's gonna like me because I'm not cute. And then when he made that comment about my nose, I started focusing on my nose a lot more. Thank you, Scott, if you ever watched this, because I haven't seen that kid since middle school, but it's still a fact that before then, I never even thought about my nose until he said something. And from that point on, I kept looking in the mirror at my nose all the time. And I was just like, oh my God, my nose is big. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, like every time I took a picture, all I could notice was my nose. And from that point on, it was like my weight wasn't even a big problem to me anymore. It was my nose. And I was like, oh my God, my nose is huge. I'm ugly. I'm hideous. Like, that's the first thing that kept coming to mind. I was like, I'm ugly. I'm not cute. I'm not pretty. And I would look at all these other pretty girls, and the little boys want to talk to the girls, and nobody want to talk to me because I'm ugly. And I kept saying that to myself over and over again. I'm like, you're not pretty enough. Oh my God, you're not cute enough. And my weight, once my weight had dropped down to where it had dropped in 7th grade, and then into 8th grade, I was kind of feeling myself because I had a little curve, I had a little shape, I got a little booty, and I was still a little bit on the, chunky side. I looked older than my age, and that really was like a big problem for me too, because I was like, dang, why I look like I'm 19, 20 in the 8th grade? I should look like a 13-year-old, and I didn't look like a 13-year-old. I looked like an adult, and that's kind of in a way started bad attention for me, because a lot of older guys would like throw me attention, and I like actually started liking it, and I was like, that's not good. It's really not good. Like, now that I look at it now, I'm like, that's really not good that I did that. But at that point in time, I didn't care, because I was getting attention. And I was like, yes, finally, somebody's looking at me. But they were looking at me for the wrong reasons. They weren't looking at me up here. They were looking at me down here. And that's always been a problem that I've dealt with even through high school. Because once I got in high school, I lost more weight. Like, I'm talking about, when I say I lost more weight, I became toned, because I got on the dance team at my school, and she worked our butts off like crazy. So my weight really just dropped, and I didn't even care about my weight. I didn't care about being fat anymore. I was what we call thick. Like, everybody knew that Dominique had a big booty. I had really buff arms. I had a flat stomach. Like, I was like, I'm in. But I still looked older than my age. I still looked like an adult, and I really was just like, ugh. I still look old, and I just still look like an old woman. That's how I felt. And I was still focusing on the fact that my nose is overly large. And every time I was around girls who I hung out with at school, I felt like they were prettier than me. I felt like I wasn't cute enough. I was just like, I give up. Like, I just give up. And I finally actually got a few boyfriends here and there, because I didn't even know what really having a boyfriend was like. And then I got into a really serious relationship with a boyfriend, a boy in high school. And I felt like, oh my God, he thinks I'm like this really pretty woman, this really pretty girl, and that changed his life probably forever. But things happened with that, and I still felt like I wasn't cute enough. And here's another little mini snippet of moments that you'll never forget. It was the day after prom. We were going to the beach, and the girl that I went to her house, if she watches this, I don't care, she knows who she is. We went to her house before we went to the beach, because we were like right in a city that was right next to our city, like 30 minutes away. So it wasn't really that far from home. So we went to her house and then went to the beach, blah, blah, blah. Next day was school. And she was like, my mom said, she came up to me, hey y'all, blah, blah, blah. My mom was like, oh my God, she's so pretty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, me? Pretty? Really? Like, I'm like, wow, she thought I was pretty. But what happened when she said that was, when she told me that, the other friends that I used to hang out with, she looked at her and they looked at each other, and they start like this little laugh, like, and that made me feel like, oh, so what you trying to say? You trying to say that nobody can give me a compliment, that I'm not pretty? And you think because everybody gives you compliments about being pretty, and because y'all got long hair and you got curly big hair and you blah blah blah, y'all think y'all prettier than me? And so once they started doing that, I was just like, wow, so my friends are like really trying me right now. So what you do from that is you walk away, because I'm that kind of person where I'm such a nice person, and then when I'm that person who you push me to the wrong level, and I might do something that I regret, and I was really like, dang, like, am I pretty? Like, that's when I start questioning a lot of stuff about myself. Then from that point on, got to college, and I just stopped really talking to a lot of people. I had moved out like right when I was 18, and I graduated already, blah blah blah. I moved out, and yeah, it wasn't a great experience. Not gonna talk about that. Wasn't a great experience, but I will say I learned a lot of responsibility. That came intact. And then I started building up a little bit of confidence, but I still felt like, like I just was like doing things I was doing things that I never thought I would do. Like, I was just not myself, and I didn't feel like myself, and I felt like I was losing myself when I moved out, and I became this totally different person. And even my family was kind of concerned about me, and hell, even I was concerned about me. I was like, this is not me. This is not who I am. And so the person I was with at the time, I had ended up leaving him. And maybe like a couple weeks after that, I found out I was pregnant. And I was like, and not only pregnant, I was 3 months pregnant. So this whole time I'm saying like, oh yeah, my period's going to come on. It's going to come on, blah, 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 blah. And then it didn't come. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. So I found out I was pregnant. And from that point on, I entered a really black hole, like depression. And not a lot of people, believe in, when women are pregnant, after their pregnancy or during their pregnancy, that they get depressed. No, it's real. And I got depressed like really bad. I was seriously in the worst depressed mode ever in my life. I had a feeling, and I had that thought that I knew I was going to be parenting by myself. And I wasn't about to sit here and be like, oh yeah, he might come around. I knew I was going to be parenting by myself. I knew it. And I was like, I got to be prepared. I got to do what I got to do. I got to work hard, blah, blah, blah. It was like thing after thing was happening to me, and nobody, none of my friends really checked on me. One of my friends who I hung out with every day, she stopped talking to me, and I was like, whoa. That's when I became very lonely. Very, very sad all the time, because I was like, wow, I have no friends now. One of my friends, she was really, really sick at the time. She couldn't come see me because she was so sick. Like, she was really sick to the point where, like, she had to go get surgery. That kind of sick. Like, she was sick. And so, I had a couple of my friends, they did come over, but like, it was like the main people that I thought were going to be there around me, they weren't. And I really was really upset about that. And I was so depressed about like, oh my God, I'm not going to have any friends. I don't have any friends. Like, I really was thinking about all the things like, wow, I'm just so lonely. I'm lonely. And I got put on bed rest, and that really sent me downhill, because I'm like, what? How am I going to save money? So I went crazy trying to find a job. Finally, I found a job where I can sit down, and when I had my baby, I actually was at work, and my head was hurting, my arms and my legs were starting to swell, and I caught preeclampsia from high blood pressure. So my blood pressure was extremely high. I had to have the baby right away. And it was crazy because this whole time in the hospital, people were talking to me. They were asking me how I was doing, texting me here and there. And then I had a couple of my friends say, oh, I'm going to be here. I'm going to come down, blah, blah, blah. And they never show up. And I was like, it's crazy how my friends can sit here and be like, oh, it's too far. It's da-da-da-da. I'm like, bruh, the club is probably 20 minutes further away from here. You'll drive to the club, but you can't come drive to see your friend. And literally, like, none of my friends came to see me. I swear. Only family members, and then my daughter, her dad's side of the family, some of his family members came. But, like, none of my friends came to see me. None. And I was like, Oh my God. And at that point in time, my blood pressure, they would not like release me or anything until my blood pressure got under control. And because I was thinking so much and I was in school, I was in the middle of semester in the hardest part of the class, and I had my baby during the hardest part of the class. And I'm thinking about school, thinking about all the stuff I gotta turn in, thinking about this, thinking about that, and how I'm gonna miss so much work, and nobody came up here to see me. And trust me, my blood pressure took a lot for me to get my blood pressure down, because it would stay up so high because I was thinking too much. I couldn't get any sleep. I was like, oh my God, my baby's not in here with me, because she had to be in the NICU because she was a premature baby, and I literally got to hold her for like probably 30 seconds, and they had to take her away from me. And I was just sitting there thinking about life, and the more I thought about it, the more my blood pressure started going up, and then it would go down and then go up and then it go down. And then I said, you know what, I'm done. I am done. Like, I am really done with friends. I'm done with having conversations with them. I'm done. Like, I was just so done. And I was like, you know what, I'm about to stop thinking like this. I need to stop thinking like this, because when I was pregnant, it was a lot of times where I felt like driving on the side of the road and literally just having a car accident, because I just wanted to give up. I was like, how am I going to do this on my own? And nobody's here for me. Nobody wants to be here for me. Nobody's calling me. I invited so many of my friends to come to my baby shower, and probably 10 to 15 friends, and only 2 people showed up. And I was like, oh my God, like, I have no one beside me. Like, I have no friends whatsoever, and I felt extremely miserable, like extremely miserable. So from that point on, life just started changing drastically. When I started holding my daughter, I was like, wow, I have a kid now. Dominique, wow, me, who would have thought I would have had a kid? And I'm sitting there holding her, and I'm just like, you know what? Stop thinking about what everybody else is doing in life. Stop thinking about not having friends. Stop thinking about what people, say about you. Stop thinking about what people think you look like. Stop worrying about what you look like. Just be you. Love her. You know what I'm saying? Nurture, like, give her what she needs. You need to stay strong for her. You can't get weak like this because you feel as if life is over. You need to stay strong, and you need to stay strong for your baby. And from that point on, I felt like she helped me with that. She helped me with life in general, because I felt like I wasn't pretty. I felt like I was like, whatever. Like, I had no motivation to do anything. I still am in school. I kept up with school. I graduated from my 2-year college. Now I'm in school now, almost finished. And I'm still pushing on to become, what I want to be in life. I'm still working out, trying to keep my body up, still trying to be a good mom, having, girl time with her, still working hard at work, and still trying to record and do videos because I love YouTube, And I was like, this child of mine has created a whole new Dominique. I finally found myself, because I was lost. I was literally lost. And having a kid and being a single mom, it is very hard. I won't lie. Like, it's been many a times where I've cried, because I was like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. How am I going to do this? But then there were many times where I was like, wow, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for my child. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my child. And I thank God for her every day, because I'm like, wow, I could have probably been in a lot of crap if it wasn't for my kid. And I'm so happy to be a parent. Let me tell you, anybody who is out there who's a single mom, a single dad, I know what you go through. Trust me. And it's really hard. It is. But if you're that single parent, that single mom who work hard and you do everything you got to do for your kid, I am applauding you, because it is a very hard job. And for you to be able to get it done and to succeed is an even better job. And I just love the fact that even though it took me to have a kid to boost up my confidence, it's a little like, wow, you had to have a kid to boost up your confidence or to boost up your self-esteem. But it made me think way more than that in life. Like, I started thinking way better. Like, my mindset was way better. I started thinking about life in totally different ways, because I think about, why do people care so much about what other people do now? My kid helps me focus on us, on family. I don't focus on anybody else in their life, because guess what? That's not me. That's not me. Like when people go on social media and they write these really nasty comments about people, why do you care? Why do you care so much about other people's lives? I don't understand it. And it really puzzles me when people care about how somebody got butt surgery or somebody got boob surgery. You didn't pay for it. Why do you care? And so with Kylie, my daughter, her name's Kylie, she helped me understand that there's so much more in life than worrying about other people's life. Like worrying about her and I is all I care about, you know? And I love that she's changed me. I have a glow. I smile more. Like before I wasn't smiling as much, and she brings a lot of joy to my life. Yes, there are times when you are down or you're like, ugh, I feel like passing out. But, you know, there are a lot of times where you are just like, wow, I'm so happy. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful to have such a great kid and a great, you know, somebody there, a kid changed my life like this. Now I'm matured and I'm way more mature than what I was. And don't think that because you're pregnant and you're young, your life is destroyed. Trust me, your life will get better. You will feel better. You will get to this point where you're like, wow, this boy, this girl, has made me a better person. And that is the greatest thing about having a kid, is that you see the world in a whole different light than you did before. And like I said, I don't think a kid's destroyed you. It just makes you stronger. It makes you a better person. And to me, I think it did for me. So that's my little talk about, you know, how a kid can really make your life just feel a lot different, and how my kid made my life a lot different, and how this is basically the start of my series, because this is who I am now. Like, this is, wow, like who would have thought Dominique would have got on a camera, start recording herself, talking about life, because I didn't even think I was a cute girl. I didn't think I was pretty. I don't care what people think about me anymore, because you don't have to walk in my shoes every day. I do. So, you know, that confidence that she gave me, just forget the world. Forget the world. Focus on us, you know? It made me feel great. And I'm so happy to be sharing this story with you guys, because I know it's so many people out there who go through those things and who've been depressed and who've been, you know, in this self-esteem issue or had no confidence, and you have a kid and you feel like killing yourself. There's been a lot of people like that. And I, you know, like to share my story because it's great to finally be free from it all, you know? You feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. And I'm so glad to be sharing. I'm so glad that I was actually able to film this. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, like my video, share it if you want to, subscribe. Also check out any of my social media sites. I'm gonna be honest, I don't get on social media as much as I probably should, but you know, just check me out anyways. It's gonna be everything in down below. If you have any questions, my email's down there too if you want to ask me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.